All right. Hello, Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. I am Nathan Timmel, a stand-up comedian in Iowa City. With me, as always, is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is where I have a little echo on your end. Did you mute your computer?
Oh, no. Here we go. Sorry, we were just testing it, and now it is...
I got a lot of echo at your end.
Hang on one second. Should be better now.
Yep, no echo. All right.
There we go.
Can't remember if there was something I was supposed to open with. I don't remember. Oh, I just admitted to picking my nose before we went live, and I'll tell you this now. Last week, because there was a delay, I peed. I drink one of these before we start, and then I start drinking another one as we record, and so I peed, sat down, and then you were like, "Oh, I need 15 minutes." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And I farted around, and then we started, but I forgot to pee a second time. You didn't notice, but by the end of the podcast last week, I was just sort of like, "Hey, yeah." I could taste my pee. I had to go so bad. So this week I have an empty bladder, and I should not be bouncing by the end of the podcast.
Dude, you should have done what I did. I've literally pissed in this thing since the start of this podcast. I filled this up.
Well, I can't wait to see you start drinking from it. It'll be good.
Yeah.
All right. I want to start right off the bat. We have an update. Last week, we talked about Blake Lively and what's the guy's name? Justin Baldoni. They're fighting one another. He is a sort of a Harvey Weinstein, but with a different approach. He's like, ladies, I love you, and I can treat you right with my penis. And so they're suing.
He's like a young, sexy Weinstein.
Sexy Weinstein, yes, sexy,
yeah,
sexy, emotional. Hey, Rich, happy weekend, Devin. Sexy, kind Harvey Weinstein. Well, this week, new lawsuit by Blake Lively. Well, maybe not a new lawsuit, but she says Blake Lively claims smear campaign led to 78% drop in sales of her hair care products and drinks. I didn't know she had drinks or hair products. Why does every celebrity need to fucking sell something? And maybe people didn't buy it because they're just sick of buying shit that just has a celebrity's face on it.
I disagree. I think celebrities should sell all kinds of products, especially on this podcast. Celebrities. I think that's the reason her sales dropped, is she wasn't paying us to plug it.
But I like the so we know her husband, Ryan Reynolds, has Aviation Gin. She sells beverage brands Betty Buzz and Betty Booze. Well, that I don't know if
names.
Same ring to it, but
there could be something to it. I mean, I've never heard of this drink, but if people were buying it a lot and then all this negative press came out about it and, she was all over. Look, if she can prove that they were lying about her or whatever, that's defamation, man.
It is. I agree. I just think it's funny that, it says, according to internal documents, the dramatic drop was completely at odds with the high satisfaction scores that Blake Brown products received in the significant consumer testing performed before launch or its initial success after launch. Now, what I don't have is a date. What I would love to see is a date, because they're talking about launch. What if it launched right before the campaign and it was just like, oh, something new, let's buy it. We're not interested, it drops. Now, it could go either way. I just think it's funny that why is she selling Blake Lively hair products? Who gives? The Rock. I walk through Target. The Rock has skincare products now. Every fucking celebrity slaps their name on something.
Well, dude, to be fair, the Rock's tequila thing has been wildly successul.
Yeah, well, so was George Clooney's. George Clooney sold his for $1 billion.
Yeah. But the way I read the article, and I could have read it wrong, but she saw a drop, not like it made 78% less than we expected when we launched it, kind of deal. So if there was a big drop and she had smears that she can prove are false, then yeah, man, I think she's justified in suing if they did indeed make it up, and if she can prove that, that's what it's going to come down to.
True. I do think this, though, at the same time, I I think anybody that's buying Blake Lively shit in the first place would probably buy more. Like, oh my God, they're attacking her. I'm going to support her even more because I don't think the general layperson gives two fucks about what's going on between her and sexy Harvey Weinstein. It's just sort of gossip that we talk about because it's fun. But I don't think anybody's making any huge. I was going to buy her product, but now she's mean. I don't know. Because, like you said it last week, you said, was she a total horrible person, or was it just, oh, she didn't make eye contact with me, or she didn't thank the craft service? She's probably a very nice person, and I think there's probably a smear campaign. I just don't think anybody that would be all in on Blake Lively products would give two shits about. I think they would double down and buy more.
Yeah, yes or no. You can tell by looking at my skin, I've never bought a skincare product in my life, so I'm really the wrong guy to be asking about this. If anything, I would want someone evil making my skincare products. I would want like Cruella DeVille. This is a lady who cares about her looks. The most evil, vain people are the biggest dicks to their assistants. If anything, Blake Lively being kind of an asshole to the people that work for her, that makes me think that it's a better skincare product. Who's not really particular about, well, the cream, it's okay. It's people who are nice to their employees, the people who are really digging down and striving for perfection with that skin cream. They're total fucking assholes, man. I want a tyrant of a skincare spokes-lady.
Get my pores opened up and clean. Unfortunately,
That's
Connie
right.
Lingus, very clever name, has summed up what we're doing right now with a Simpsons quote. I used to be with it, then they changed what it was. Now I'm with
Yes.
isn't. And what it's, I'm doing grandpa. Maybe it was a home. No, that's a grandpa. But either way, we're old men yelling at clouds. I don't understand celebrities and their drinks and their hair care products. That's
Yeah.
basically what we're doing is old men yell at cloud, or at least I am.
Yeah. No. Whereas me, I'm on Blake Lively's side on this one. I think she should be mean to her snitching assistants, and I think she should, if anything, yell at them more and provide better skincare products.
Yeah, we did get a call out last week, a comment after the fact on the video itself saying that we were cucks for supporting Blake and not sexy Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that guy. Yeah, like to be fair, and I said if it is true they were lying, if she can prove it, this stuff of he said this, she did that. I mean, it's got to be hashed out, right?
Yeah,
I'm not just going to automatically jump on anyone's side when I wasn't there and I don't know the facts. So I don't think we were really supporting either person over anyone. I will say the accusations being levied against that dude are worse than the accusations being made against her. But hey, man, I'm not there. I don't know if either of these were fucking true. So
I
whatever.
don't know either, but I think I tended to lean, and I still do on Blake Lively's side because just in the overall scheme of things, yeah, I've never heard a bad thing said about her in any gossip rag until it appeared last summer. It was suddenly like Blake Lively's a nice person, nothing bad to say about her, and then suddenly she's the most horrible person in the world. So it came out of nowhere, and everybody that worked with this dude, everybody, like his podcast partner, quit, filed a lawsuit against, like everybody turned on
Oh,
him.
that's right. He had multiple people talk backing
Right,
that
like they,
shit
they
up,
all went.
right?
We've
Yeah,
been
so that's
waiting
different,
for
man.
this day. It was kind of like again the Harvey Weinstein comparison. It was like everybody had been waiting for someone to put a crack in that little dam so that they could quit and they could talk about it and say that he's a phony. So either way,
Yeah, in fact, dude that called us cucks for now that I remember the facts because I haven't thought about this in over a week.
neither have I. Not until I pulled
Now that
this saw this story. I don't think about it every day.
Yes, dude who called us cucks for supporting Blake Lively last week. I believe it is you who are the cuck, sir. You are the Justin Baldoni cuck. And I think you were hired as part of his smear campaign. I think you are nothing but a Russian bot hired by the one and only Justin Baldoni to smear Blake Lively and us. And after she's done suing him for her skincare loss, I'm suing you, guy that called us cucks for me losing money on my on my hair loss prevention cream that I've been the spokesman of. And for some reason, a lot of people aren't really buying a lot of it. I think it's because your smear campaign, because they were like, oh, I was going to buy his hair restoration cream, but I don't buy hair cream from cucks. I've been falsely claimed as a cuck, sir, by you in the comments.
I agree with you 100% because I think I know how smear campaigns work. And the idea that they would get articles put in People magazine or Variety, that's too much. They find an obscure podcast with several hundred listeners and they go after them. That's how they get the ground campaign going. We have
Yeah,
been maligned by this cuck calling commenter. So prepare for a lawsuit, you cuck commenting commenter.
that's right. I don't know what maligned means. I don't eat a lot of Italian food. But Justin Baldoni, I agree with what he just said. I'm going to smear some of that over your mom's twat. How about that?
That got harsh. All right. Next story. Jake, this is probably, I sent this because it's the most American, most USA apple pie patriotic. This is the most American story I have ever seen in my life. Canadian Super Scooper plane grounded after hitting civilian drone over Los Angeles fires. You have helicopters, you have airplanes doing water drops on the fires in Los Angeles. You have everything going on in the air. And of
Oh,
course,
real quick. Nate, before we get to the fire, Sophie in Canada comment says I was going to buy Jake's. It said Jay, but let the record show they mean Jake. I was going to buy his hair care products until I read the comment that he was a cock. Look, I lost money. Boom. Take this. Yeah. Highlight that comment. Screenshot it for the
screenshot
trial.
it, taking it to court.
That's right.
Anyway, how American is that? USA #1. We've got all these professionals trying to fight a fire, and then we have assholes flying drones so they can get cool TikTok videos. USA #1. That encapsulates America right there. Some dipshit flying their drone where it was high enough and a plane hit it, and I'm sure the plane demolished it, but then they still have to ground it and check it because a bird strike can put you in the Hudson River, as Sully found out, Sullenberger.
But the weirdest thing to me is it said it was a Canadian plane. So
Yeah.
afterwards, the Canadian plane said sorry to the drone. I mean, if anything, it's the drone that should be sorry to the Canadian plane. Yeah.
That's the thing, by the way, with allies in nice countries. You have Trump shitting on Canada, shitting on Mexico, and Mexico and Canada are sending firefighters and equipment to Los Angeles. Did you see the pictures of Mexican firefighters crossing the border, coming to help? I mean,
Yeah.
you'd think they would say, fuck you, USA, but that's nice.
Yeah, I think we should build a wall to keep Mexican firefighters from stealing American firefighters' jobs.
I think we should build a wall and keep Mexican firefighters in America to help fight the big fires.
Boom.
Okay,
That's the move. That's the move.
I missed this sentence. The
Turns
damage
out they really are sending us their best.
Yes. The damaged plane will be prioritized for repair and should be back up and flying again by Monday. So it's still grounded. This is still grounded.
Hell
This
yeah.
happened Saturday. So I thought it would just be like, oh, look at the front, it hit a drone. Maybe it went into an engine. I have no idea. Sustained wing damage and remains grounded and out of service. So you fucking drone flying motherfucker, I think that person should be sued for all the billions of dollars of damage taking place. They can file a lawsuit now saying, hey, we were putting the fires out till this asshole threw his drone up and knocked a plane out of the sky. We're suing you for 78% drop in productivity by our firefighters. They could just piggyback on Blake Lively's lawsuit.
Yeah, also, funny how quick the government was able to figure out where this drone came from when it wasn't really one of theirs, huh? That was
well, they didn't, because the FBI
ago,
is seeking the public's help in identifying the operator of the drone flight.
What's that?
Yeah, the FBI is seeking the public's help in identifying the operator of the drone. They're trying.
Oh, so they still don't know.
Maybe it's a New Jersey drone.
It could be. That's what I'm saying. Is before they were like, yeah, we don't really know what it is, but we kind of do. But don't worry about it. Like that was there when it was clearly the government putting the drones up there, right? Because they had fucking blinking lights on them. Like, what do why would they be blinking lights on them if they were like a foreign adversary's drones or an alien from outer space or whatever? A light is on a plane or a drone because an engineer put it there, and even if you pre-bought one that already had one, you would put tape over it if you were like doing some spy shit,
Yeah,
like you
you'd cover that shit.
you put the lights on them so that airplanes can see them, so this doesn't happen. And like you wouldn't be doing that if you were spying. It was clearly our government testing it. But yeah, funny how they're like, oh yeah, this was a private individual's drone, like they do right away
Yeah.
that where it was coming from when it wasn't their own shit they were trying to sneak around and test.
And Sophie and Ken pointed something out as I continued scrolling the story, and I'm looking at a picture right now. Sophie and Ken said Canada sent like 8 more planes, which is nice of them. The
Oh
downplane
yeah,
has a baseball-sized hole on the landing edge of the wing. The leading edge of the wing, landing edge of a wing. You don't land on the wing. And I'm looking at it. So that it hit a wing and it punctured the fucking wing. So yeah, the district attorney says you will be arrested, you will be prosecuted, and you will be punished to the full extent of the law. What are the chances they're just going to find some random drone operator? Like someone's going to have to talk like, dude, my drone hit that plane. And then because unless they find pieces of it with a serial number that can be traced back to a sale.
I think they're going to arrest some random drone operator, and then like the next day he's going to be handcuffed, being brought to the courthouse, and he's going to say, "I'm a patsy," and then he's going to be shot by the CIA or the mafia. He's going to get Jack Rubied.
I like the way you think.
Job.
And then they're going to find a second drone operator on a grassy knoll somewhere.
Yep, and that guy's going to be even fatter and dumber than the first drone operator.
Highlighting the dangers in flying drones around wildfires, Davis said a hole such as the one sustained by Quebec 1, the airplane, could spread across the wing and take the entire aircraft down. It could, because I'm not a smart person, but I do know that if you have a flat surface and you're flying, then a hole appears in that and wind gets in the hole. Like you could shear the entire wing off. You could lopside the plane. I didn't realize that in Quebec they call it Ken pointed out. Yeah, that's a big goddamn hole in an airplane.
Yeah, that's massive. I mean, well, because it doesn't even have to be that big a drone to do a lot of damage. I mean, they're flying fucking fast. So I mean, look what like a 45 caliber bullet does to stuff.
Yeah, and you have an airplane which is moving pretty quickly itself, just colliding, boom, big objects hitting.
Right.
Still so American that we're trying to.
I'm surprised there hasn't been more of this with like commercial airlines. Just now that people just sort of have the ability to willy-nilly throw stuff in the sky. I'm and all the commercial planes we have, I'm surprised there hasn't been more, just weird collisions in the air.
How big is the no-fly zone around an airport? Because I guess I'm thinking about taking off and landing.
No, yeah, there's rules that say you can't do it.
How often do people follow the rules?
Asshole doesn't just say, "Hey, fuck your rules. I'm doing this anyway."
Right. Well, this is
probably rules that said, "Hey, don't fly this into a Canadian plane while it's trying to put out the greatest fire that California's ever seen." I mean, I'm sure it was,
Not just California. I read somewhere that this fire here is a big middle finger to the Chicago fire, the Great Chicago Fire. It's like, no, we got you beat, Chicago Fire. We're number one. I could be wrong, but I read that.
The Great Chicago Fire is being downgraded to World Fire 1.
Sophie and Ken says those planes can take a lot of wing damage. They are designed to hit trees. That's true. I saw one dropping the red flame retardant. Dude, it was skimming the trees. That pilot was so low because you don't want to drop it too high and have it dissipate. So the big problem would be if it hit the engine or cockpit. I can see that, but man, so Sophie and Ken, what do you do? How do you have 3 arsonists have been arrested? Richard's they're follow-up arsonists though, Richard. The ones that have been arrested have been trying to set secondary fires and with a blowtorch, but the main fires, I don't think they have a source or a culprit or I don't think they know if it's arson or Pacific Gas and Electric always seems to come under fire for down power lines. But yeah, they've arrested 3 follow-up arsonists.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know fire lines are a big problem out there because they keep going down and they add to the fire, but it's also causing the water shortage in large part because what's happening is they're not actually running out of water out there. What's happening is they're running out of water pressure.
Yeah.
And because they have to kill the power lines that go to these areas, and that fucks with the water pressure to these things.
Yeah, because the reservoirs are still relatively full from the big rains last year. They didn't deplete them, but yeah, they've said it themselves. A fire hydrant is meant to put out one house on fire,
Right.
not the entire neighborhood. Sophie and
Yeah,
Ken
they're
says
not
he
made
worked
for
at Canada
prolonged.
Air in the 90s making these planes. Well, there we go. We got a goddamn expert giving
Oh
us
hell yeah, dude. You
telling
got
us
to be
what's up.
more
Thank you,
pissed off
Sophie
than
and Ken.
anybody. This fucking dick with the drone put down one of the planes that you worked long and hard hours on. You were working overtime so that some fucking hoser from America could put a hole in that thing.
Just
That's
put a
bullshit.
hole in it. Well, I guess we're sticking on the lawsuit
Although
theme.
up
I
there
didn't
they call
mean
the
to, but
baseball size hole a hockey puck size hole. But so I'm trying to use the correct measurements here.
yes, hockey puck size hole. I didn't mean to make today's news all about lawsuits, but apparently it happened on accident, or we just referenced making one. But here we go. A self-declared scapegoat, Alec Baldwin goes after New Mexico prosecutors after Rust probe and trial. I did not see him turning around and suing the prosecutors because they seem to have a pretty good case. Alec had a gun in his hand. It went off. Someone died. And so they wanted to get to the bottom of it. Now, could it be a whole thing like what was it, the Duke University, where they knew the kids were innocent, but they prosecuted anyway? Did they know early on it was an accidental discharge, or, obviously he wasn't trying to kill anyone, but they wanted to make a case? I don't know. I just didn't see him like getting a not guilty and turning right back around like, all right, now I want mine. Not only is my name cleared, I'm going after you guys. So yeah,
I think it's
Alex
a big
coming back
mistake, man.
swinging.
I think if you're Alec Baldwin, you probably want this to go away as quickly as you can and
You'd
talk
think,
about,
but he's the one filing the lawsuit.
dude, you want the news talking about literally anything other than you shooting some lady on set.
I mean,
That's ridiculous, man.
apparently he does because he's filing it. He's the one keeping it in the news. The original case is over, and he's the one saying like, now that you have maligned, it's a Blake Lively 2.0. Now that the prosecutor has maligned his reputation, he wants it back. He's fighting.
But I mean, I don't know if this is Blake Lively 2.0. Blake Lively saying he said I did things that I didn't do. Alec Baldwin saying, "Yeah, I shot her, but it didn't go the way they said." You're not like it's a different kind of.
Well, according right here, I agree with this paragraph. Now, you'd think Baldwin and his legal beagles would have been happy with the New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres pushing aside Special Prosecutor Carrie Morrissey's pursuit of a new trial and announcing December 23rd that the state had decided not to pursue the appeal on the behalf of the prosecution. So Carrie Morrissey lost and wanted to go at Alec Baldwin and like, no, I lost, but what happened to double jeopardy? The Judge Mary Marlowe tossed it out, and
Double jeopardy just means you can't be convicted of the same crime twice.
so if you're found, okay, so they lost this trial, and they get to go after him again. But either way, so yeah, he's like it got tossed, so he's fronting. You'd think that here's your
again,
line
man,
right here.
like,
You'd think one might assume Baldwin would move on from the matter that he has lamented since he was first charged. You would think so, but he's going. He's the action over false and defamatory statements is why he's suing.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. You want this to go away. Like the thing you're really battling right now is the public perception of you.
Yes,
and this ain't doing it. This would be like Army Hammer saying, "Hey, I'm coming back in a comeback role as a cannibal." You know, like what are you doing? Why did you write yourself as a cannibal in this movie? You should have wrote yourself as a guy that eats chickens or cows or something like that.
I don't know. Maybe Army should lean into it. Like, oh, bring it. Like, remember when David Letterman was cheating on his wife with that intern and he announced it on the show himself? He got in front of the gossip rags. Maybe Army Hammer should get in front of this. Like, all right, everybody called me a cannibal. Yeah, I'm taking on a role. We're doing Hannibal Lecter the early years, kind of like they're doing Dexter the early years right now. They've got that TV show. Army Hammer should star in Hannibal Lecter the musical. Why not? Army Hammer should star in Hannibal Lecter the musical.
Sure.
Army Hammer as or Hannibal Lecter as in his 30s or whatever. Army Hammer is 40s instead
I say
of
throw on the
Anthony
ice
Hopkins.
skates, man. Bodies on ice. Let's do it.
Hannibal Lecter on ice. You turn it into a musical, then a skating.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, I don't know why the hell he's doing this lawsuit. I think it's a mistake. I just think he's fucking he's to a point in his career where he's like, I've done most of the stuff I'm going to do, and now I'm kind of old and bitter about this. And I think he views this as like, this ain't really going away. I don't really have time to completely undo this, so I'm just going to take these prosecutors down with me. I really think this is just sort of a suicide bomber technique, you know?
I can see that because for a while he was doing shit like hosting game shows and just taking a paycheck. Like if someone offered him, like, because Rust, I haven't seen it. I think it got released on VOD or maybe it's, I have no idea. I'm talking out my ass. I haven't seen it. I know that. But it was not a big Hollywood blockbuster production. It was an independent small film.
Right,
And he
right,
used to be in huge big blockbuster films. He fucking Hunt for Red October. Great movie. And how
right.
old?
You know?
That was the 90s. God, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's huge. He's been in everything.
Yep. All right. Oh, I got it. Let's do this. Why not? You know, God bless Donald Trump. I'm just going to say it. We talk about his bluster, his insanity, and the evil he does, but Trump claims he'll rename the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. We do most of the work there, and it's ours, the U.S. president-elect said. He's nothing if not interesting. I mean, come on. Of all the things to take a stance on, this was absolutely unexpected that we're going to. What? How do you do that? Has anybody looked into the logistics? How do you rename a body of water or, I mean, is it possible?
I mean, I think you would have to basically get the UN to tell people to start doing it, which they're not going to do. I mean, you can have the maps in your country say whatever the fuck, man. There's when when I was in Iraq, we went to Qatar on pass, and some of the guys were like, "Yeah, man, they had like a world map of the region in the airport in the Qatari airport there, and there was no Israel on that map. It was just one big Palestine. So it's like your country can kind of make it say whatever you want. It's maybe he should just change the name of the Atlantic Ocean to the American Ocean. Touches our shores, it's ours. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Also, the Pacific Ocean, America Ocean 2. That's right. It was America Ocean 1 once we sailed it the first time. Then we made it through on land and horseback and buggies, and we discovered what? America Ocean 2.
I mean, you're not wrong. I still
The Gulf
call
of America, America
Burma, even
Ocean
though
1.
they changed their name to Myanmar. God knows how long ago. It still hasn't sunk in for me. It's still fucking Burma. But I mean, you are right.
I mean,
It's
until the band
it,
changes their name to Mission to Myanmar, it will be Burma to me as well.
Solar Last says last minute. Betcha he's going to change it to Trump Gulf. I could see that the Gulf of Trump. Trump.
Yeah.
I could
And
see
then,
that.
and then he opens up what on the coast of there? The Trump Golf Course. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Or he goes out to an old oil rig and opens a Trump casino. It's the most exclusive, kind of like that private Chinese island that I can't think of the name of. That's basically a gambling island right now. He opens a Trump casino on an
That's
old
right.
thing. But
They
um,
call it Trumpstein Island.
you know what this is like? A devil. Is this a gay channel? Yes, it is. This is the gayest channel on YouTube.
I'm being blown by 7 dudes right now under this table.
And you have a I've been meaning to say, I know Jake, I'm behind the scenes. We talk before we go live. What are we going to do? Jake's like, I'm going to get blown by 7 guys during the podcast.
Yeah.
Game face. You have the best game face for someone that's getting blown by 7 guys right now. You have the
I'm
best
used
game
to it.
face.
I get blown by 7 guys a lot. So it's just kind of like another Sunday for me.
All right. Well, going back to what you said about changing the map to say
They're gonna end the show by jumping up and spitting it right in the face of the dude that wrote that. Only 7.
What was I saying? Oh, we already do
There's
that.
room for 8, Devil. Come on over here, Devil.
We already changed. We have Texas for a while. Texas school books were trying, or maybe they never did it, but there was a big push to take the word slavery out of Texas history books, out of the history books in Texas, so that they would say something politically correct. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It was something like involuntary immigrants, I think they wanted to use. It was the right.
Involuntary immigrants.
Dude, it was the best thing ever
Jesus
because
Christ, man.
the right took the left's obsession with adding hyphens and being politically correct and said, "Oh, if you want to say, Hispanic American instead of Mexican or Latin American or African American, fine. Instead of slaves, we're going to say they were involuntary immigrants." They
Hey,
used
that
the left's love of hyphens against them, and I thought it was the funniest goddamn thing ever.
no, that lady. I didn't kidnap that lady. She's an involuntary trunk passenger. How dare you, officer? This is
Yeah,
slander. I'm gonna go full all Alec Baldwin and sue you for defamation.
I did jokes on stage about it. My two were one of my jokes was it's not a kidnapped kid, it's the hide and seek champion of the world. And the
Sure.
other was it wasn't sexual assault, it was surprise sex. Like
There
yeah,
you
it's
go. There you go.
you can do this for anything. But that's what the left gets for pushing politically correct, renaming everything on everyone. So the right said, yeah, we're going to rename it too. And like you said, we could make our own maps that say the Gulf of America. Nobody else will recognize it, but it's just funny that
Right. It's like freedom fries, but for bodies of water.
I had forgotten about freedom fries. Oh my God. What a time to be alive that was. Oh, go to McDonald's and order some freedom fries.
It's yeah, it's the same thing, but yeah, if we're just gonna name the body of water after our favorite thing that touches it, screw Gulf of America. Let's narrow it down more. Gulf of Bourbon Street. You know, it's right there on New Orleans, Bourbon Street. Love it. It is now Gulf of Bourbon Street, I say, because most of the America that touches the Gulf, not that much of a fan of, but Bourbon Street specifically. Gulf of Bourbon Street.
Sparkmeister has a good point. Says it's one huge table you have, Jake. Jake has a banquet table that he sets up on. So it's a rectangle. It's a long, wide banquet table that will fit 7, 8 dudes under it.
Yeah, I'm actually holding the camera in my hand. Otherwise, it'd be bobbing up and down right now. It looks
Funny
like the
part
whole
is
apartment
French
shaking.
fries aren't even French. They are Belgian. Yeah, we always forget that. French, Belgian fries. Freedom, freedom, freedom from Belgium.
Really, the French stole it from Belgium?
Who knew the French could steal anything? I thought they would just surrender. Like Belgium would go, "Hey, don't call them French fries. We invented it in French. Vi se renda, vi sorry. We give it back." I don't even know what
Well,
accent that was.
I can't. Like France has such good food. The fact that they would steal one of the most basic shitty things
Yeah,
in all of like
oil
food,
in
like
potatoes in oil, cut potatoes in oil. All right, we got
yeah,
time for.
everywhere has to have some version of that, right?
I would think so. Well, didn't
Everywhere that
China
has
invent
potatoes.
pizza?
I mean, maybe, but at least pizza, there's a lot more going on with pizza. You know what I mean? Like you got to let the dough rise. There's sauce, there's cheese, there's topping. There's kind of a lot going on. With French fry, bro, there's different shapes to it. That's basically you're cutting the fries, you're frying them up. Boom. That's it. Anywhere that has potatoes has that.
Yeah. Bob Diesel has a good point, like putting Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. I mean, I can see the call for it, but at the same time, whatever happened to that? That was going to be a big. Was that 26? That was before. That was Obama. There wasn't there talk of that happening, and that went away.
There
The
was
idea that
talk. Yeah, it probably Trump got in and squashed it. Here's why I think it didn't happen, and why because I think you end up having to spend a bunch of money to make it like to completely do new bills,
yeah, you'd
and
have to
people are
recall
just
all the
like,
old ones, or you put an expiration
yeah.
date on them. You can't. Then you'd have two currencies in the market, and yeah, it would be
I
a,
just don't
a
think the
mess.
government wanted to spend money on there. I think whoever the hell was in charge, the other party was going to point at them and be like, "Look, this was a they could have spent this money on, the homeless or something."
Yeah. All right, we got less than 5 minutes on the recorded podcast, so let's just sign off there. We'll do a last story over on the live. So if you are listening on Spotify, you're missing one story because we go live on YouTube every Sunday, roughly noonish, a little after Eastern time zone. So I have been Nathan Timmel. You can find me at nathantimmel.com. All things Nathan. Jake Vevra is my companion. Not one, I don't blow him because he's got 7 guys to do that, but this is a gay channel. So, You can find him at Jake Vevra on all social media, including YouTube, where he has his 1 hour special, Unalived by Dog Pills.
Look it up. Unalived by Dog Pills. Give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share.
And that is it for the not live broadcast. Thanks for listening. Yeah, and we're going to turn our attention to the live broadcast.
Justin Baldoni started the LA fire so he could blame it on Blake Lively.